Let's talk about inheritance in detail. So what inheritance is, what it is used for, what are the different terms that we use in inheritance, and what are the different types of inheritance. The first is in inheritance. We'll forget about the coding for a minute. Let's talk about what inheritance is. Inheritance is basically what values you have acquired from your parents. So that is inheritance, what you have learned from your parents. So talking about real life example only, what language your parents speak, you learn that language from the childhood. So that is one thing, that is one kind of inheritance, one kind of real example of inheritance that we can talk about. So similarly, we will be having two classes here. More than two classes are also there, but in inheritance, minimum two classes are there. So there is one class named as parent class. Second is a child class. So when we say that one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of a parent class, that means that one object is the object of the child class. So whatever the properties and values are there in a parent object, that will be acquired by the child object. And why do we use inheritance? Simply for code reusability and for method overriding. When I say method overriding, this is one of the step in polymorphism, which we will be looking into with the help of an example in the next slides. But now we'll only talk about inheritance. So what are the different terms that I was talking about used in inheritance? So first I've already mentioned that there is one parent class and there is one subclass or child class. So subclass means whatever it is extending from the parent class, and that is a child class. And one class is superclass. So two names. You can call it parent class or superclass. And for child class, you can call it child class or subclass. Let me explain you different types of inheritance. We talk about parent class and a child class. So parent class is also known as superclass. Child class is also known as subclass. But for our workshop, we'll only talk about parent and child. We'll not talk about super and sub as of now. This is one class. This is second class. So as I've already mentioned, one of the keyword is extends that is used in inheritance. So that means when you write this class extends the parent class, that means it is inheriting something from the parent class. So the syntax for this would be, if you want to write it down, please write it down. When you create, so for example, when you create a new class, you write class name, then opening and closing curly braces. But what we will do for parent class, we will write class, parent class, and there will be some methods in it. But now if you want to create a child class, how do you do that? You write class, child class, and extends, because this is the most important keyword here, extends parent class. And then you write whatever you want to write inside that child class. So this is the basic syntax of inheritance. Now, if we talk about what this parent class and what this child class is, I'll talk about different types of inheritance first. Then, or first I'll give you an example. What can be the example of this? So one of the example can be college is the parent class. And inside college, department is the child class. And inside department, if you talk about, there are multiple classes. So first will be first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. So this is how inheritance works. So now talking about different types of inheritance. The first one is simple, which is single inheritance, what we call it, which means there will be a parent class and a child class. This is known as single inheritance. I will write only I. Second is multi-level inheritance, which will be grandparent, then parent, and then child. This is known as multi-level inheritance. Third is what we call as multiple inheritance, which is not supported in Java using class. But how do we do multiple inheritance in Java using interface? That we will be looking into. Third is, suppose parent means, for example, father is one parent class, mother is another parent class. So you don't only have the property of one of them, you might be having property of both of them. Okay, so simply put, there are suppose two parent class and there will be one child class, which inherits properties from both the parent class. So this is known as multiple inheritance. And there is one which is known as hierarchical inheritance, which comes here like a parent class, and there are different child of that parent class. So that is known as hierarchical. And finally, we have got hybrid inheritance, which means there is one parent, child one, child two, and then child three, for example. Or you can call it class one, class two, or class three. So we have talked about what are the different terms in inheritance. That was superclass and subclass. And then what is the class? What is extends keyword? Then what are the different types of inheritance? Like single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. We'll solve one simple example of single inheritance. So for example, what we are going to do here is, we'll again go to Eclipse. Now I will create a new class here. And I will change the package name now. Now package name will be com.workshop.oop and class name will be single inheritance. So I'll give class name. We'll take some examples. So for example, if suppose there is a furniture store, so furniture will be a parent class and child class will be some table or chair, for example. So single inheritance. And I want to create this void main. I'll click on finish. Now you can see my package name is changed. And on the left hand side also there are two packages. One is com.workshop, one is com.workshop.oop. So first what we are trying to do here is we will create a class named furniture. Inside furniture, We will be having one material. Or let's forget about furniture. We'll talk about automobile or vehicle. Then we have public void display. So vehicle. Sorry. This is a vehicle. Similarly, we have one vehicle named as car. But this is a child class, so this will extends parent class. That means this is the syntax. Here we will have different method. Public void wheels, for example. Here when I write this, I will write it as it has 4 wheels, as this is a car. So finally what we do inside the single inheritance class, we will create the object of this child class, that is car C equal to new car. This is how it is created. And now when I print C dot, now you can see when I pressed C dot, you got this display method, which is the part of vehicle, but you have not created the object of vehicle. You have created the object of car. Still we are getting this vehicle because of the reason we are using this extends vehicle. Otherwise this display will not come, because display method is mentioned only in the vehicle class. So for example, now if you see, if I remove this part, extends vehicle, and now if I put dot here, you will not see that display function, display method, because this is not extending anything from vehicle. So these two are separate classes. So I will move it back as it is. Now if I click on dot, you will find this display method. That means child class has inherited all the properties from the parent class. So this is one thing. C dot display. Second is we have to display wheels also, C dot wheels. So now as soon as I run this single inheritance, you will see that both of the values are displayed, like both of the print statement are executed. First is this is a vehicle. Second, it has 4 wheels. So this is an example of single inheritance because there is a parent and there is a single class inheriting or extending that particular parent.